Hi, it's Jackie from Jackie's Trans Revolution. You know, a lot of you people have stuck with me, you know? Like, I am so thankful to you. Like, you don't even know what a difference every single one of you has made in my life. And my goal and my dream and like my greatest desire has been to be here for you. And I really want to restart this channel. And so I hope that you tune in to Jackie's Revolution because we are going to do whatever we can. And we are going to try and represent the trans community, the whole trans community, right? Not just myself, right? I answer to you and I work for you. And I try to do everything I can for you because when I came out, there was nobody there except for the trans folk in the community, right? And if it wasn't for y'all, then I wouldn't be here at all today. I owe everything to the folks who were there for me. And that's everybody at the NMTGRC and, all of the friends and everybody that was there, and also the legal department there. Because if, I don't know, a lot of you, we have to go through a lot. And then unfortunately, we have to start a new life. And, we need help because there's a lot of people that want to try and take advantage of us, right? And so we just have to stick together, right? We have to keep doing that for each other. And we have to not let all of the negative stuff that's going around and everything else that is happening in the world affect us. We have to keep on going. We have to find ways to be happy. We have to find ways to keep being who we are no matter what anybody else tries to do or who tries to stop us. And so that is your main goal, right? Now, I really want everybody to fight for the place that you live because I don't want anybody chasing you out of somewhere that you belong, right? Like, you belong there. But at the other hand, I want you to survive and I want you to have a good life. And so that might mean that you might move, and don't feel bad about that, right? But also if you can stay there and if you can make a difference politically, then I highly advise everybody to take this country back. Take your town back. Take your state back. Take your country back. Because this country was by the people, for the people, they say. And, that means everybody, right? That means everybody. Not just the people who agree with them or do whatever they want, That's not who this country is for. This country is for everybody to have the freedom to be themselves. And I know a lot of people in the armed services that I supported my entire life. I have spent a good majority of my life supporting all of those people who keep us safe because freedom is never free. Remember that. Freedom is never free. Period. It was fought for by somebody and it was clawed out of the hands of those people who didn't want to see us free. We have to remember that. We have to remember that the trans rights movement started with a brick. And everybody else in the community, they need to, just try and keep in mind that it was a black trans woman who actually ushered in the era of rights for the LGBTQIA community, right? That stuff didn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen by accident in this or any other state, right? It is due to the people that are our family, the transgender community, but also for all of those allies. And without all of those allies, then we don't have a chance. Because let's face it, we're the smallest minority in the world. Like, we are, right? And so we have to have allies. So I want you to go out and make as many allies to the trans community as you can, right? I want you to just do whatever you can to just be a good person, because that's what it takes. There's a lot of people who say they're a good person, but there's a few people who actually do it, right? And I don't care about what your religion is or who you come from or whatnot. What I care about is for you to be a good person, because that's what I strive for. And, you know, I know I've gone through a lot of things, right? But look, we have to be different. We have to break the cycle, right? And it took so much effort on my part just to make it this far, right? And that's why I miss so much time with y'all. Because, you know, I've been through a lot, you know, but so has a lot of us, right? And I want to use my experiences of going through a lot to try and be there for you. And maybe I might have some decent advice, you know? Maybe I can be there for you. Maybe it's a trans question, right? Maybe you want to know the truth, or like what we have actually seen about this, that, or the other thing, medications and whatnot. I know I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to, you know, I might give you advice and say this is what I did, but also I'm going to say that, well, there's a lot of things that are misinformation and there's a lot of things that work. And this is your journey, and you should have all of the information that you can in order to be empowered, in order to do whatever it is that you can to make it. That is your job. You have to make it, right? So let's go on to another topic. You know, like one of the real good, you know, real fun things that I wanted to do for y'all is a trans makeup tutorial. And I apologize, you know, the last week or so I've been trying to do that video, but, you know, I'm always kind of in a hurry when it's time to put on my makeup. And I would have done that now, but then I wouldn't have been able to make you this video. So, but I do really want to cover that topic. And I want all of you to get on the comments, right? Hop over to the channel, get on the comments, like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications if you could, right? Because I want to grow this channel, and I want to be on location at the transgender rights events. I want to be able to travel, to go to the national issues, and I want to be there for our community. I want to be there for you. So, please, go to the channel, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because these episodes are mostly going to be on the other channel, and that channel is what I'm going to use for all the activism that I'm going to do in my community. Because I do different things, you know? I am a person just like you, right? So, right. I got all my own dreams and all my own desires, right? And so do all of us, right? And let's follow those. This is about living your best life. This is not about you trying to conform, unless that's what you want to do, right? But this is for you to take your life and be who you are. And that's all I care about. Being who you are, and that's what this journey is about. So do whatever it takes. Do whatever you need to, whatever you need to do for your transition, right? Live your life on your terms, right? Fight for your rights. Live your life on your terms, and just be genuine. Work towards that genuine self, the one that you are fighting for, right? The one that you want to be. And I realize a lot of us have, issues with that's, the way we are. We just don't feel comfortable in our skin. And that is why we actually do the things that we do. That's why we take HRT, right? That's why we strive to become the person that we are inside, right? And that is what is beautiful in each and every one of us, right? So we need, just be who you are, be beautiful, and don't let anybody else stop you from being who you are, right? Because this isn't about conforming, and this isn't about being one gender or the other, right? And there's all kinds of people in the trans community. There's NBs, and there's trans femmes and trans masks and agender, and there's so much variety, right? So much variety. And that is what makes this human race beautiful, right? Right? Yo, be who you are. Like, live your best life for you, as you. Now that is something to smile about. Something to smile about. Because the whole point is that maybe one day, if as many people actually tell you you look beautiful, then maybe you might actually believe that inside. Right? Maybe. Right? And I know it might take some effort. You might, need a few surgeries, or you might not even be able to afford surgeries, right? Maybe those are a luxury for you. And, they're a luxury for me and everybody, right? The fact that we could just go and get the things that we need done, right? And this isn't about trying to, take everything over. And this isn't about trying to, encroach on anybody. And we're not trying to make anybody feel comfortable. But we just need to use the bathroom, right? And we just need to have a little bit of support. Like maybe a job where they don't fire us because we're trans, And maybe we just want to go to sleep at night with some kind of safety and some kind of expectation that when we wake up, we're going to wake up, and that we're going to be safe in our communities. We're going to be safe in our cities. We're going to be safe in our state, safe in our country, right? We deserve just as much as anybody else does to be happy, to be who we are, to be us, to become more comfortable in our skin, right? I know I keep trying to say become ourselves, but we were always ourselves. We're just trying to realize on the outside what we feel like on the inside. And we just, we got to live a better life. And for all of you allies and everything, I really do appreciate everything that you have done. Everything that you do every day. Because without you, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't. Because we fight for our rights and we're tough. And, I don't recommend anybody, doubt us. But let's face it. Where are you without our allies, right? So that's why I partner with my allies here. And I highly recommend that you partner with your allies there. And I realize this has all been about political stuff. But look, I was a member of Kamala's campaign. I fought hard to help make sure that we would have a country that we could live in. I fought real hard. I fought. And you know what? A lot of people did. And, unfortunately, things turned out the way that they did. But, you know, I spend a lot of time, just trying to be some kind of a positive influence to the community, right? And sometimes that's really hard for me because I have my own things, I have my own life, and I go through a lot. And, it's kind of unfortunate, and, I don't wish it on anybody. I try my best to fight every day so that some of the things that happen to me don't happen to anybody else, right? And, sometimes I just haven't been able to get on here as much as I like. But I'm finally feeling a little bit better, These last few years have been really hard on me. And I really just didn't have the place or, the way. And I just didn't feel good for a lot of that time because, unfortunately, I get depressed and I have these flashbacks, and I just, they overwhelm me. I have tools and skills to deal with these, but like, it's just overwhelming the amount of trauma that I've had in my life. And, that's kind of unfortunate, right? And I realize that I may need a little bit of light, It looks like there's a little bit of graininess in the video, and it may not come out the best at like 1080p, which is what I'm shooting this in, because 4K is a little bit much, but like, please excuse that. I'm having a little bit of indigestion, but 4K, that is my goal, but that requires a lot of storage space, and a lot of resources. They may or may not have at the moment. Like, I have cameras and stuff like that, but the space and how long that it's going to take to go ahead and process those videos and then get them out, that's kind of a lot. And that's maybe one of the reasons why I haven't had too many of these episodes out, is because kind of doing like pretty much all the stuff myself. And so unfortunately, like, I just don't it's been hard, like, so I really do appreciate each and every one of you that has stuck with me all this time. You people, you have helped me out so much, especially my friends, my family, and my loved ones here. So I highly recommend that you just tune on in to Jackie's Trans Revolution. Just mosey on over there. Maybe I've said that more than once here, but I want to reach as many people as I can, and for that I need enough subscribers to be able to go live, to be able to cover a lot of these events for our community. And for that, I need your help. For that, I need a little bit of your time. So, if you can, just mosey on to YouTube, go ahead and watch this video again, like, subscribe, and click the bell, right? That's how it works. I wish I didn't have to sell it to you like some kind of commercial. But, that's just the way it goes, right? And, I love Facebook. I love all of you in this community, and I'm going to still be here for this community as much as I can. Sometimes it gets overwhelming for me because there's just so many of you great people out there. And I just, I need a little bit of time to heal, and I get kind of overwhelmed with it, But that doesn't mean I want y'all to stop tuning in or, stop subscribing or any of that stuff. Because, I got to work through it, right? I got to survive the pain, right? And you're like, yeah, right. Pain, whatever, right? But, I've been through a whole lot in my life, right? And that's the whole reason why I want to be here for y'all. And I may or may not have said that so many times on this. I don't know how much editing that I'm gonna have to do to put this together, because we had to roll several takes, and we got some blooper reels, and like nothing ever goes over in one take. And that's why by last video there's a bunch of uhs and stuff like that, because I had been doing that for about 45 minutes trying to get like a 5-10 minute spot, right? So this is not easy by any stretch of the imagination, right? But it is worthwhile. I love doing it. It is my dream, my passion, my goal, and what drives me to be here for y'all, for this community, right? Be here for each other. Be a good person.